We are live. Awesome. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Jennifer. Thank you so much for joining us for another
Morning.
episode of Hustle Science Experiment.
Good morning, Elias. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And folks, if you're tuning in, feel free to ask us some questions. But I'm really excited to introduce to you Jennifer Cruse, who I've had the pleasure of knowing now for this is, I think, our 1 year mark of be getting to know about you and the work that you're doing and learn about Rico. So Jennifer is super decorated, incredible mom, entrepreneur. She's the momager for Rico's Rockin Pop. She's the owner operator for Phenomenal Photo, two companies here local in Las Vegas. But she doesn't stop there. She's also a graduate from our Promise Startups entrepreneurship program and the Las Vegas organizer for young business kids. And I'd say Jennifer is the driving force that made our Startup Kids Camp happen last week that, impacted 27 kids. So Jennifer, thank you for all that you do. And thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we've been working a lot together lately. So yeah, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you for having me.
Awesome, awesome. And this will hopefully be more fun. But why don't we open this up? I mean, you've got a unique entrepreneurial journey. Could you share your journey with us today?
Sure. So I've been in Vegas for about 20 years now. I started in hotel administration, and then I moved into social services when I had Rico. And I liked social services. I liked helping people and connecting people to resources and that type of thing. That was a fun job, but I wanted to go back to events. I wanted to go back to, going places where everyone was happy. So that's when I started Pretty Phenomenal Photo. That was my way back into the event space and conventions and that type of thing. So with that, I did Pretty Phenomenal Photo, and I'm still doing it, but for about 5 years. But Rico wanted to go into business. He wanted to have something that we could do together and make money as a family. So that's when Rico's Rockin' Pop began. And he's been in business now for a little over 3 years, going on 4 years. So Enrico's Rockin' Pop is candy coated corn puffs. So that's what my 11-year-old sells. And we recently got into helping other kids start businesses. So with Rico's Rockin' Pop, like I said, he's been in business about 3 years. We just opened a commercial kitchen for Rico's Rockin' Pop.
Congratulations.
So thank you. Thank you. So we can sell all over the country. And we're not limited to just, local Las Vegas anymore. So once we started that, we opened it up. We had a lot of people that were asking, well, how did you do that? How do I get my kid in the business? And that's when we came up to participating in Young Biz Kids and recently the Startup Kids Camp, which was awesome.
Yeah, that is super awesome. And I'd love to talk more about it. But first, let's give you and Rico some more love. So this is the Rico's Rockin' Pop website. And this is really cool. I mean, so Rico and you have been in business since he was 8 years old for the last 3 years. And Rico's, he's become such a polished young entrepreneur. I feel like he's inspiring the other young kids. And he's even got this book. What has been the process of you coaching him to become more disciplined, to do the work that it takes to market his business, make the popcorn, all that jazz?
Well, see, the book began because we kept telling the story, and then the book is all about how Rico's Rockin' Pop began. Like, he had allergies, so we had to find a product that he could enjoy that didn't have dairy in it. So we started there, and then last year he released the book at YBK Day. Like that was his book launch party last year. And
Okay.
this year we did the Startup Kids Camp. So YBK Day has been like a big deal for these last couple of years. We've done big projects with it. But he's been having fun. The book deals are exciting because it gives him a chance to generate money in his business without going to a vendor event or without sitting in the
Yeah.
kitchen and making popcorn and things like that. He gets to experience making money based on past work versus current work. So I really like that.
Awesome. Awesome. You're really getting that passive income and hopefully to a point where you're generating monthly recurring revenue. But let's get into the business and life lesson here for today. So your business lesson, what is it that you want to talk about today?
My business lesson is ask for the business. Most of the time, if you aren't getting any type of feedback, it's because people don't know where you are or who you are or what you're doing. If your product or service is of value and it's helpful, people want to know. You're doing them a disservice by not telling them about what you do that could help them.
Yeah.
So ask for the business, tell the people what you're doing and where you are and how to reach you. That's my business advice.
That's no, that's fantastic. I think would you subscribe to the mentality that you have to take sole ownership and responsibility of your business? You can't just be a
Absolutely.
woe is me. Folks in the market
Absolutely.
didn't want to accept my product, and maybe you just didn't even talk to enough folks or make enough offers.
It's a numbers game. So
There's the founder of Airbnb, Brian Chesky, did this talk a couple years ago over in Silicon Valley, and like we're talking about like the dude who built a product to multi-billion-dollar corporation this reshaped the world, and he had this really great quote that stuck with me, and it was the business doesn't die because of some external factor. Your business dies because of your negligence. It's the
mhm,
and I think that's like, for some folks that might piss them off or rub them the wrong way. But I think,
it
you
has
know,
to.
yeah, I think you have to take ownership. And when you see what has happened, with like the peacetime CEOs, take losing the reins of their companies like AMC or GameStop, and kind of COVID has really forced a lot of folks out of business. I mean, we could subscribe to the woe is me mentality, or we could just say it's my responsibility to, pivot and make the changes. And the business isn't dying because it's COVID. It's dying because I haven't figured out a way to overcome this obstacle. How does that land with you, Jennifer?
Definitely, definitely. Like I know some businesses that, obviously, just kind of shut their doors and waited for something to happen. But then others, so Pretty Phenomenal Photo, we do photo booth rental. And there was a photo prop company that when when no events were going on, they said, okay, well, we do these custom photo props and nobody's buying them because they aren't having events. They switched to making custom masks, so now the same logos are on the
Oh,
mask and they kept going. You know what I mean? So it learning how to pivot and figuring out what you offer and how you can do it differently can save a business just like that.
that's fantastic. And Jennifer, you've got a unique entrepreneurial experience, right? Because like you said, you used to be in social work, you used to work in hospitality, and then, where did you pick up some of these business lessons, like the sales lessons, or just these principles? Are there some folks that you subscribe to, or
I really love Lisa Nichols. So when I worked in social services, I would have a lot of people come into the office that, obviously it was awful. Their dog died, the wife left them, they lost their job. It was something terrible that happened. But
that's a lot in one week.
yeah, it was sometimes in a day. But one of the things that Lisa says, or Lisa Nichols says, is that you are your own rescue.
Okay.
So I love that. And I actually had it taped to the wall in my office that okay, so these horrible things happened externally. Okay, but now here you are and you have to fix your life. So what do we do? How do we fix it? You are your own rescue.
I love that. And for, Lisa Nichols, I just did a quick Google search, but for the folks that don't know her, can you tell us about her?
She is a motivational speaker and a writer. And then from her experience, like she started off really, really in poverty, and she worked through her business and paid herself until she hit an astronomical number. But now she does tours all over the world, and she works with Mind Valley now, I think.
Oh, fantastic. Mind Valley is such a fast growing company I've
Mhm.
seen. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, talking about, growing your company, I mean, what are some of the like core, is it fair to say you're a solopreneur? Essentially, you and Rico, a
Yeah,
duopreneur
right,
essentially.
right. So
Um,
it's our family business, but yeah, it's just the two of us.
so how do you handle like I like there's so much to do, right? There's operations and fulfillment, there's marketing, there's sales. You still find time to volunteer and give back, but then there's also managing the finances. Could you share a little bit about how you manage all of this? Taking care of Rico like on a day-to-day basis. Are there some sort of systems or hacks or tools
Um,
you use?
the biggest thing is building a team. So we have the core, which is our family business, which is me and Rico. But then, I have the person that I go to when I need graphics, and then I have the person that I go to, when I need to get a politician or a community leader to buy in on something. Like I have the people that I know are my go-tos.
Hmm.
So that's important because I can't do everything. I don't know everybody. I don't know all of the things. So it's really important to have your team together of who is willing to help and who is their their zone of genius and
Hmm.
let them operate in that.
Yeah, I love that. And have there been like for folks that are just getting started, I mean, was there like a certain network that you were able to tap into? Like how were you able to start finding the people that were your go-to's?
Well, Promise Startups was a really big help, actually. There was a room full of people who had a lot of different experience and a lot of different networks. So, in my cohort, we had, the woman who was Nisi, who does HR. And, if I have questions when we're getting ready to hire somebody on for Rico's Rockin' Pop or for a Pretty Phenomenal Photo, the people at Nevada Partners know everyone. They know everyone in Las Vegas. So if you need
Yeah,
something, if even if they can't directly connect you, they can say, okay, well, this is where you need to go and who you need to talk to.
I love that. No, that's awesome. Thank you, for plugging that in. And um, yeah, I'm excited for what can come next for the Promise Startups group. Um, but let's move on. We'll take a moment. What are you feeling grateful for today?
Um, I'm grateful for community. It is just me and Rico in Las Vegas. All of my family is in California, and I'm so grateful that Las Vegas has embraced us and really steps up for my son. And I just love it. I'm so glad that we have this community here.
I love that. That's awesome, Jennifer. Thank you for sharing. And I've got to resonate with that. I mean, community, especially Las Vegas. I mean, I'm an immigrant. I'm from the Netherlands. I came to America when I was 2 years old, and so being like a Moroccan Dutch immigrant in America, it felt hard to find my place that feels like home. But Las Vegas
Mhm.
has very much felt like home for a long time, and the people that I met here that have supported me through my entrepreneurship journey has it's amazing.
Mhm.
um, let's get into the life lesson then. You kind of have a life lesson that's along the same lines, but why don't you open that up for us?
So the life lesson is that you happen to life. You don't wait for life to happen to you. You can't sit back and hope that things work out. You have to make it happen.
Yeah, yeah,
So you're
absolutely.
the only one responsible for it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, do you say that there's been people in my life who've preached the opposite, right? We just gotta go with the flow, and whatever happens is gonna happen, and you have no ownership or control over that. I mean, have you heard people say that to you before?
I definitely have, and I'm going to say it might be a little bit offensive. I think that's loser mentality. I
Yeah,
do. I think that the thinking that you have no control over your life. Um, I don't see the winning in that. So.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think the we've heard Will Smith say this. I think right after he slapped Chris Rock, but the person who says you can and the person who says he can't are both generally correct.
Mhm.
And I agree that But what do you tell folks? I mean, like, do you just offend them like that, or do you have a way to,
Yeah.
or do you have a way to try to break the ice?
It kind of depends. If they say it in front of Rico, then I have to call it out right there as loser mentality.
Yeah.
But if it's just, me and them, I can kind of ease it in a little bit. Like, no, yeah, I disagree. You know.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah.
if you say that in front of my kid, yeah, no, loser mentality. We don't believe that here.
Yeah. No, that's good. I do agree with you. I mean, we are the result of, we're adults at this point, right? Like we're the results of our decisions. And so at any point you can snap out of it and then start making the tough decisions that you need to make and change your own future. I really do believe in that as well.
Right, right. So it's up to us. We
Yeah.
all we got.
So do you do any sort of like manifestations or, affirmations on it, or journaling? Like what are some of the things that you put to practice to help you remember that your life is yours to direct?
Well, I do the vision board like quarterly. So I'll
Okay.
have my board up that, this is what I want. This is what I'm working towards now. And those are great to look back on. Like I love looking back on last year's or the last quarter to say, oh, I did that. Look, I finished it. Look, that was complete too. And that's super inspiring because I know that what was on the board last year got completed. So I'm definitely putting this next thing on the board this year because that's definitely going to happen. So I love that.
Yeah, it does fill you up with momentum. It's like, oh man, you are right. What you do and manifest can come to the reality. And to Jennifer, ironically, Promise Startups was on my vision board before it became Promise Startups, and
Right.
I always wanted to do like an entrepreneurship program. And so once we did the first cohort, and then we did the second one, and we had a group of students, and now we have a community that seems to be growing. It's been like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I think I pitched it to somebody 2 years ago, and they told me, it would take a lot longer than a year to build what we built. And so I really believe in that as well.
Well, you saw the cool stuff that you did with the Tech Start for Kids. So for Young Biz Kid Day, the kids in the camp were able to, make their landing page and everything. Your program's really cool.
Oh man, I appreciate you. And yeah, it was so perfect that it was Coach Amber Jay's vision boards to kick off the students' workshops, and then to see the students take their vision boards and then to bring their logos to life, and then the first website drafts to life. To see that level of manifestation to happen in an 8-year-old is, I mean, how can you then say that you're just going to sit around and let life happen to you when you can make life happen? You can see 8-year-olds make life happen for themselves.
Right. In 3 days, no less.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I love that.
That was awesome.
Are there any other like key mindset lessons that you just like to remind yourself of that we can talk about today that's in line of directing life?
Um, So one thing that's important, like, so while we're talking about manifestation and building your own life, you also have to keep in mind to give yourself some grace. So the things that are on the vision board are going to happen because you're going to make them happen. But if they don't happen tomorrow, don't beat yourself up about it between now and then. So that's important. So give yourself some grace, but definitely keep going.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think that was something that was tough for me to learn was learning how to forgive myself, and forgive myself for my mistakes, but also forgive myself for not meeting my own expectations. And then I don't know. Do you believe in astrology at all?
Not so much.
Okay, okay, no worries. I was gonna tie that into being a Capricorn, but we can skip that part. That's great. I mean, do you subscribe to any podcasts or other folks beyond Lisa Nichols, or does Lisa talk a lot about these mindset lessons as well?
Well, we mentioned Mind Valley, and I love like their whole thing. Like they have a ton of different people that are on their channels that are always good stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't imagine how powerful the group of startup founders behind Mind Valley might be. If they're really living and practicing this every single day and then building what might become $1 billion company at the same time is pretty crazy to witness.
Now, have you heard of Earn Your Leisure?
I have not.
All right, so
What is that?
that's another group. They're out of New York, but it's all about like starting from the bottom and building a bunch of different business ideas. And they have workshops and conferences and stuff now. And they started as a podcast, brand new, like 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, that's
So
amazing.
it's gotten massive. So
That's super cool.
definitely looking to earn your leisure.
Sweet. Yeah, we'll do. And so talking about growth and talking about, some of the companies that inspire us, Jennifer, what is next for you? I mean, how do you see, you know, your Enrico's journey continue to evolve?
Well, the biggest thing now is so he has his book that's, that he released last summer. And now it's about getting it into like school districts and libraries. The book is on the shelves in two Las Vegas libraries, the West Las Vegas and the Summerlin Library. So
Nice.
we have to get his book into the rest of the libraries in town and into some of the schools so we can start doing, workshops and that type of thing there. So he's really looking forward to that.
That is awesome. Yeah, that would be so cool. Once it's in the library, more libraries and the schools, and he's doing leading workshops. So he'll be
Mhm.
teaching about entrepreneurship essentially to the public.
Right. And problem solving.
Yeah,
Right. So
I love that. So, do you plan to take this beyond Las Vegas too? I mean, are you and Rico gonna hit the road at some point?
we are. I would love to do a book tour. That sounds like so much fun.
Yeah,
And then even with the startup kids camp that we did last week, we're kind of thinking about, well, maybe we should take this show on the road. Let's see if other cities would be interested. So we're kind of thinking about it.
that's super cool. I was on a call with somebody in Colorado just a couple days ago, and he was telling me, how do we get in? How do we get this here? Do we need to pay
Mhm.
for it? Like, what do we got to do? And
Right.
so yeah, there's probably. I wonder, is there a lot of stuff happening for kids in the startup and entrepreneurship space? I mean,
Um, well, the one thing that I believe is that your gift will make room for you. So if
mhm.
there are other things, then we'll be at the top of the list. I'm excited.
I love that abundance mindset, 100%.
Mhm.
That's amazing, Jennifer. Well, how can folks, take the moment to, market yourself or promote anything you've got going on, or if you want folks to get in touch, the floor is yours.
Okay, so this Saturday, we're doing the Young Biz Kid Marketplace at Nevada Partners. So that is July 16th to 7th. What'd you do?
I want to
Anyway,
leave the floor completely. Sorry, I totally messed that up. How about
you're
you?
good.
My bad. What, do you want to start that pitch over?
Sure. So this weekend, on Saturday at Nevada Partners from 4 to 7, we're having the Young Biz Kid Marketplace. That's where we'll have the Las Vegas entrepreneurs are under, I think the oldest one might be 16. So 16 and under are going to be vending their products, and I'm super excited. So Rico will be there, obviously, with his Rico's Rockin' Pop. But we have Chili Barkers, we have Peace Pops, BP's Royal Donuts is going to be there. There's a lot of kids that are going to be vending this Saturday at Young Biz Kid Marketplace at Nevada Partners. Um, what you can do is go to ricosrockinpop.com, RICOSROCKINPOP.com. And you can pre-order, or if you're out of town, we can mail it, whatever you need. So there's that, and just look forward to the next event. If you are in a school district and you want copies of Rico's Rockin' Pop, go ahead and email us. I'm looking forward to that.
That's wonderful. Super exciting, Jennifer. Thank you so much again for everything that you're doing in our community. I feel so honored to know you and have been able to work with you. And I know Ella feels the same way, and we're just so excited to continue collaborating with you.
Perfect. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you. Enjoy your day. I'll see. All right, everybody. Comment below. Go to Rico's Rock and Pop. Come see us on Saturday. We'd love to see you. And stay tuned to the next episode.
Bye.